The place where we are, called Goiânia, in the middle of the state of Goiás, is referred to by a lot of people as like the Texas of Brazil. But we recently had the opportunity to go to a different city called Florianopolis. Florianópolis is also called Floripa, and it really is like a paradise island. It has 42 beaches, it has a bay for dolphins, a bay for sharks. We saw crocodiles, we saw snakes, we saw birds that looked weird. We saw things I managed to get on camera and some things I didn't. We woke up and met the Stevens family for an early morning flight, Goiânia to São Paulo to Floripa. When we arrived, we were picked up at the airport and we drove through Florianópolis. We got to see their version of the Statue of Liberty, and I still haven't worked out why there seems to be so many Statue of Liberties around in Brazil. This particular one was guarding a bookstore. The beaches in Florianópolis rise quite quickly to some beautiful hills, and nestled into the green hillsides there were all of these beautiful looking pastel-coloured towns. Sadly though, these are the favelas, the informal settlements that have kind of been thrown up over the years, and they're also places of real poverty and very dangerous to go. I've mentioned Florianópolis' 42 white sand beaches. They really are beautiful. Now it's an Atlantic city, not a Mediterranean one like I'm really used to, so the waves are much higher, but that also means that the surf culture there is very strong, and whether you're a surfer or not, it is an amazing place to go. While we were there as well, we got to see a bit of sandboarding. One of the things that seems to come with the territory of being in the tropics is that the nature is just amazing, and we got to see so many beautiful places and things on the walks we took around and about. Sometimes you'll be face to face with 60-foot high bamboo, sometimes you'll see a giant butterfly going past you, and sometimes you'll see a couple of crocodiles lurking in the river below you. But I think the fact that it all seems so alien to me is one of the things that makes it all so beautiful. They're really rare experiences. Some of these animals I'd really only see in a zoo, so maybe it is a bit more like a zoo, just like without the safety nets and cages. Another thing that was really important about this trip is that it enabled us to see the difference between like the Texas-y state that we're in and the state of Santa Catarina in which Florianópolis is in. Previously, because I'd only really been around Goiás, I assumed that Brazilian culture was monolithic. In other words, everybody was pretty much the same throughout the country. But when we got to Florianópolis, we saw that it was a really different culture. In some senses, it was much more Europeanized, and it was, if I'm honest, a place that Lara and I felt more comfortable. People in Florianópolis dress differently from Goiás. They even use the language differently. For example, if you're in Goiás and you're speaking to somebody directly and you want to say you are, you would only use the second person formal, você está. Whereas in Florianópolis, you might use the second person informal as well, tu estás. But I've asked around in Goiás, and the expectation is that while people would understand what you were saying if you said tu estás, they would never use it themselves. Because Brazil is such a huge country and the terrain historically has been very difficult to cross, what it's meant is there hasn't necessarily been a massive flow of people between cities on a daily basis. And so some elements of the culture and language have managed to grow apart slightly independently. The differences aren't massive because you've got the harmonizing impacts of books, TV, radio, formal and informal education over the years. But still, they're there to see. One massive highlight of the trip was when Fabiano and Neca, who really took care of us well during our stay, invited us out for a day on the boat. They took us to Shark Bay, where we didn't see any sharks. They took us to the Dolphin Bay, where we didn't see any dolphins, but they did take us to an island that was only accessible by boat, and we had an amazing lunch. We had cooked oysters, which were absolutely delicious, and then they ordered fresh oysters. So the owner of the restaurant jumped into his boat, went out to the net, picked up fresh oysters, brought them to our table, and just as expected, they were really something, and they tasted like cold snot.
If you're wondering which one's better out of cooked oysters and raw oysters, I can tell you that raw oysters are deeply unpleasant and there's no reason to eat them.
If you're going to eat fresh oysters, eat them once, tick it off the box, and then just be sensible and have cooked oysters for the rest of your life. The only way that fresh oysters have managed to survive in the public consciousness for so long is because of great branding. People realize they taste like cold snot, so they say, no, this is an aphrodisiac. And humans are such suckers for good branding and so gullible that we keep buying them. On one of our last days, Lara and I just took a nice walk hand in hand across the sands on the beach as the waves lapped at our feet. Like so much of our time in Floripa, it was a perfect moment and a really special memory. If you are going to visit Brazil, I really recommend you put Floripa on the map as a place to see, a place to visit, a place to experience. Come and eat their acai, drink their coffee, visit the beaches, surf the waves, and I'll catch you next time back in Goiás. Bye.